Well, Fidelity Investments released a new retirement guide, and it's gained national attention. And to help us gain some insight into what it's all about is Travis Freeman. He is the founder of Four Seasons Financial Educator in Creve Coeur. Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me back.
What are your impressions of this?
You know, I'm really glad that Fidelity has this new guideline. Unfortunately, about 58% of Americans haven't even calculated how much they're going to need to get to their retirement goals.
Yeah, you know, when you read about the fact of how remiss we are in figuring out our retirement, people spend a lot more time planning their vacations than they do retirement.
Yes, that's very true. And in fact, that's funny you say that, Christine. I say that all the time. So it's good that Fidelity has guidelines like this, but I always warn people it can be dangerous to solely rely upon these guides for a goal as big as retirement. It's the biggest financial decision we're going to make in our entire lives.
Yeah, and you know, when you listen to some advice, it's always like, well, if you're a family of four and you're this age, and but there's so many variables.
So many variables,
yeah.
and in fact, I always say it's good to have those guidelines. If you haven't predicted what you're going to need for retirement, you need to use these simple guidelines. But if you really want to get down to the exact details, you can't put into a simple financial calculator that your spouse is going to stay home and raise the kids for 15 years.
Yeah, and then we have, you know, the two working households where both people are working, and maybe the breadwinner continues and one retires, and that retirement affects the other person, you know, just as much as it does them, and then you have to redo the formula and figure it out. And sometimes we just don't, we're so busy with our lives that we don't really have that forward gene thinking thing, you know, to go there and try and figure out what we're supposed to do. So what's your advice to someone who finds themselves, you know, maybe in their late 40s, early 50s, and they haven't done a whole lot?
You know what, I always recommend to at least start off with the simple calculators and the simple guides, but once you get to about the 10-year window, I call that the retirement red zone, what you really need to do is sit down with a professional. And usually you'll want a certified financial planner, someone that has very, very unique technology to put all those life variables into place. So do it early, do it right away, but once you get to that 10-year window, you need to actually have a really comprehensive calculation done.
Okay, so it sounds like you are happy or you think that technology can help, but that you can't rely on it 100%.
The simple technology, no.
Yeah,
no. Like I said, you can't put all those variables into a simple calculator, but usually professionals will have
projections
comprehensive
and all
programs.
sorts of charts. It's amazing.
But they cost thousands and thousands a year, so that's why professionals have it. Most families don't.
Yeah. So, okay, so what advice do you have for someone who's just starting in the workforce right now?
Time is on your side.
Yeah.
I teach classes to companies all around the country about retirement planning, and people always come up and admit, Travis, I wish I would have started it sooner. Whether they're 50, they wish they would have started at 40. If it was 20, they wish they would have started at 18. Do it right away. Time is on your side.
No matter what.
No matter what. That is a
so when you say do it, are you saying just your regular go through the motions of doing your 401k, or to get a little more sophisticated about that, to take it to another level?
You know, for someone that's earlier than 40, at least use a basic guide, because that'll tell you here's what you might be able to put away right now. Here's what you need to do. But by the time you get beyond that, then you need to spend a little more time fine-tuning it. But the younger you are, put away as much as you can.
I think that's such great advice. But it's so hard to hear when you're young, because you know you'd rather go on that vacation, right?
Yeah. tell your children they need to do it.
Exactly. And then do you find that a lot of times people are stunned because they think of Social Security as a retirement nest, and then they're stunned to see how little they would receive?
Well, when Social Security was first formed, they didn't have taxes taken out of it. It's changed so much over time, and who knows what's going to change in the years ahead, especially for younger generations. So you can't fully rely upon it. We have to watch out for ourselves and say.
Yeah, and that would be another good thing to share with someone about, you know, look, at this rate, blah, blah, you know, if you retire at this age, this is pretty much what you would get in a month. And then it's kind of sobering, you know, because you're thinking, well, gosh, I thought it would be so much more, but it usually is not.
I think sobering is a pretty good word for that, Christine.
Yeah, so Travis Freeman, thanks a lot. How can we get a hold of you?
You know what? You can go to my website, financialbootcamp.net.
Oh, I like
all sorts of great tools there.
Financialbootcamp.net. And we'll put that on our website at KPLR11.com.